Right, Vitali breaks down after being sent to maximum security prison. I haven't been following this Vitali drama, but this really caught my eye, so let's have a look.
So Vitali has officially hit rock bottom in the Philippines, and this isn't just about him losing muscle or crying behind bars. No, this man might have accidentally changed Filipino law just by being the most chaotic, clout-chasing nuisance in recent memory. Let's get into the full breakdown of what's actually going on with Vitali, because between the failed bail, the body transformation, the prison transfer, and the new data privacy law he accidentally helped trigger, this story has evolved from YouTuber in trouble to global embarrassment getting legally humbled in—
Okay, so from what I've heard so far about the whole Vitali situation, so the guy literally, so he used to start off as a prank guy, vlogger, whatever. Then he kind of went mentally insane after he literally got arrested for like hitting a woman on the streets. I remember that being a thing. And then no one kind of talked about him for a while. This was in like 2019. I literally remember making a video on my Glider Guy channel when I had like 300 subs talking about it. It was actually, that's literally how I know about that. I don't remember if he went to prison or what happened, but he got out, stayed low for a while. Then he started doing these predator catcher videos, which were okay, but then he started like slapping the preds and doing all that sort of stuff, which people thought was a little bit distasteful, especially with a situation that's as serious as that, like literally like child preds. But then after that, apparently the guy just went around genuinely just harassing people. Like he turned into Gideon from a few years ago, but just like amped up completely. Like he started turning into like a Johnny Somali, if you could really compare it to that, where he ran around to like crazy ass countries, just like breaking the law. I think he went, was it Malaysia, where he ended up getting sentenced
in 4K. Let's rewind just a little. Up until recently,
yeah, let's let this guy explain
it. Was being held in an immigration facility, basically a holding spot where they keep foreigners who are about to be deported. It was jail light. Think of it like airplane peanuts, technically food but barely. Well, now he's actually been sent to real prison. As of the 11th of June, the Filipino Bureau of Immigration has officially transferred Vitali into the custody of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, aka the BJMP. That's not just a department switch, that's a full upgrade to hard mode. The reason? Local criminal charges. Translation, he's not just getting kicked out of the country, he's being prosecuted like a local criminal. And here's the twist, he's staying behind bars until his case
and apparently, like, hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but Philippines does not sound like a country that would be light on with crime at all. I think them and Malaysia are the two that come to mind, where it's like they're just, they do not play around at all. Like if you do something bad, it's like 1920s America type of thing. Like that's how bad it is.
Then and only then, he might go back to immigration for deportation. But even that's not guaranteed. He's stuck and there's no rescue team coming. And actually guys, I have some bad news to tell you. I'm recording this after recording the original video, but Vitali actually posted bail from BJMP for the court case of unjust vexation. However, he is not released and doesn't have freedom. Instead, he was transferred back to the Bureau of Immigration holding facility. Basically, he's still in jail facing a deportation case and officially labeled as an undesirable foreign national. So he's still having fun in jail.
Did that just say undesirable alien? Oh my god. He's already seen as an undesirable alien.
So he's
imagine being called that.
Jail. So now let's talk about the visual shock everyone had when new photos of Vitali dropped after his transfer. In his earlier photos, he looks like a human protein shake. Veins popping, chest puffed.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
Like he just bench press an apology.
He's tiny now.
The dude looks like he spent 3 months eating air sandwiches and doing cardio by pacing in his
Bro,
cell.
that's how bad and again, like, obviously the guy is probably on steroids here, to be honest with you. And then, obviously, he's probably got no access to them anymore. So, I mean, like, obviously your diet's not going to be the same in prison. But, yeah, that is a lot to lose in just a few months. I couldn't imagine the conditions that this guy was put in during that prison thing. Even just, like, the look on his face. Like, he's gained a bit of facial hair. I don't know. He just looks like he's deteriorating here.
By pacing in his cell. He's still in decent shape, but
lesson learned, do not end up in a foreign prison. If you go overseas on a holiday, do not mess up. Just don't.
The smug smile, gone. His face is sunken, his body shrunk, and his whole vibe screams, I made a mistake. Why the change? Well, 2 reasons. There is no gym gear in jail. I'll show you guys some photos of these Filipino jails, and yeah. there's not a lot of space. I'd be
that
surprised if he
real?
has space to lay down fully when he's sleeping. And of course, he doesn't have access to the performance enhancers he allegedly relied on.
Yeah,
no testosterone,
that's
no
why.
supplements, no stacks, just plain rice and regret. And then let's talk about the stress and starvation. According to people who've seen the conditions in these facilities, inmates don't exactly get 3,000 calorie bulking meals. Some even claim he's being underfed or starved.
Oh my
Not intentionally,
God.
but because the resources just aren't there. And of course with Vitali probably weighing like 80
That's
or 90
nuts. Like, I'm
kilos.
pretty sure at least in American and like Western like prison systems, I'm pretty sure you at least like if you have dietary needs, like obviously they'll give it to you. If you need a certain amount of food, I'm pretty sure they'll give it to you. Again, I don't know, but I'm just like that's kind of what I'd expect. But like, god damn, in these third world countries, I could just imagine they would not care at all. They literally would not care. Like, I'm pretty sure there'd probably be like certain health issues that if you needed dietary requirements, they just wouldn't care. They just give you rice anyway. That is.
Compared to the average
this guy's
Filipino
cooked.
male, he's definitely not getting the recommended serving size for his body type. Now, here's where the story gets wild. Because of Vitali and streamers like him, the Philippines just introduced a new data privacy rule targeting IRL nuisance content.
It appears that Vitali has changed Philippine law. Yes, from the National Privacy Commission of the Philippines, saying vloggers must blur bystanders in posts under new NPC
Wait.
guidelines. So to explain real quick,
Really?
whenever you have nuisance streamers, whenever you have these content creators, the IRL streamers, they are capturing many other people other than themselves in these videos, including vulnerable people, children, disabled people, elderly, people that they have absolutely zero permission or consent to record.
Wait, this is something in the Philippines that they've literally introduced because of Vitali, where if you're out in public vlogging, like if you're vlogging and obviously you're in a city or something, there's a lot of people, you have to blur every person's face. That, I don't actually, like, I feel like that being a law is a little bit wild, a little bit crazy, but in terms of an actual rule itself, like the principle actually kind of makes sense. I actually don't mind that as a principle. Like, having to blur everyone in public, that does take a lot of work, to be honest with you, especially if you're in like a big city and there's people walking past all the time. Like, you're gonna be spending a lot of time doing that. But I don't know, I feel like that's a good and bad thing, because if you're filming in public, right, I'm pretty sure in America that the rule is if you're filming in public, you can film whoever you want and it doesn't really matter. I don't know, that seems very controlling, to be honest. I don't know how I feel about that.
And they're using him for clout, for profit, and even to mock those people that really can't defend themselves. Vloggers are now required to mask.
Yeah, but it also does stop things like Vitali was doing, where he'd literally go around harassing people in foreign countries who don't speak his language. Like, that kind of a thing, obviously, like, it's hard. I don't know. Could I compare it to like speed laws, right? Like speed limits, where it's like, if you're going down a street, the speed limit's 50. A lot of people could probably go over 50. They could probably go 100 and drive absolutely fine. But some people need to go 30, or like they need to go 50, so the speed limit's 50 for everyone. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but it's kind of like a few bad apples can just ruin the whole thing and make the laws have to be strict. Like, most people don't need a law like that, where it's like you gotta blur people's faces. But because of Vitali being an absolute nuisance, he's just ruined it for everyone. He's literally changed the law in the Philippines for this.
Images of bystanders in their post under the new guidelines of the National Privacy Commission. NPC Circular number 2501.
The National Privacy Commission rolled out NPC Circular number 251. Yes, they literally gave it a boss fight name, which forces vloggers to blur bystanders in their videos. Not just children or vulnerable folks, everyone. If someone didn't consent to be on camera, you better blur them or catch a case. This applies to streamers, vloggers, even bodycam users.
Wait, so if you're streaming though, if you're IRL streaming, how are you supposed to do that then? Because you can't blur them live. Like, damn. Okay, now it's starting to be this is where the logistics of this kind of break down, because it's like, bro, if you're streaming, how are you supposed to blur in real time? You can't do that. Like for example, if I Show Speeds goes to the Philippines, he can't stream anymore. He can't stream in the Philippines because what? He's got to blur out all of his fans. He's got to blur out everyone that's coming up to him. You just can't do that.
and capturing faces
That's not possible.
you could be hit with criminal, civil, and administrative charges under the Philippines Data Privacy Act. The commission even said vloggers must post privacy notices before recording and explain in plain language what data they're collecting. So yeah, not only is Vitali in jail, he helped change law enforcement standards for content creators in the Philippines. He broke the system so bad they had to patch the game mid-season. And let's be clear, the BJMP isn't a luxury resort. It's known for being overcrowded, under-resourced, and brutally harsh, especially for someone like Vitali, who lived lavishly and acted invincible on camera. This isn't just jail time, this is a life lesson time. And even local Filipinos are saying the same thing. If this happened under former President Duterte, Vitali wouldn't be in jail. He'd be off the grid entirely, like disappeared. People believe Duterte, sorry if I'm saying it wrong, wouldn't have tolerated the disrespect Vitali showed. Some say he wouldn't even get a trial, and others claim if the president was still in office,
so he's
we
lucky.
might be hearing
He's
about
lucky
Vitali
with what
in
he's
a
got.
true crime podcast instead of YouTube
This could have been so
updates.
much worse.
Even now, current Filipino leadership is sending a message. Foreigners who abuse the country's hospitality will face full legal consequences. No clout armor, no privilege.
Oh my
now, here's
God,
the
like,
part
that's
some
just-
of you may already know.
It's
No
like
clout
it's like you kind of feel bad for him in a way. Not feel bad as in like he doesn't deserve what he's got. Like obviously he deserves a bit. I mean, you kind of feel bad when you realize he's lost so much weight. He's clearly being treated very harsh. But then you see things like this, and you're just like what the
Now,
hell are
here's
you
the part
doing?
some of you may already know, but it hits even harder in context. Vitali tried begging for bail, pledging to behave and not flee if released. That was flat out denied. Why? Because he's a massive flight risk, and both Russia and the US made it clear they want no part of him. Russia publicly condemned his actions and told his citizens, don't be like this guy. That's a diplomatic
Oh
way
my
of
God, so
saying
no one wants
he's
him.
your problem now. Meanwhile, the US took the lol no thanks approach. Vitali's
So
a
they
green
don't
card
want
holder,
him.
not a citizen, and nobody wants to go through the effort of dealing with his mess. The Philippines got the memo, that's why they moved him into the BJMP in the first place. If either country planned to swoop in and get him out, he would have stayed in immigration, but this transfer is a clear signal. He's being processed like a Filipino criminal and will face justice exactly the same way. Of course, that hasn't stopped the simps from simping. There's this one guy, an ex-fan, tuned, unofficial hype man, still claiming Vitali is valuable enough to get traded internationally. Bro, be for real. His theory sounds like it came
Valuable?
from a late-night Reddit
Bro,
thread.
we shipping him around like an NBA player? This guy holds no value. What?
Maybe
He
Russia
literally
will
just
trade
goes
a
around
Filipino
harassing
prisoner
people.
For Vitali. Or maybe Trump will pull some strings because Aiden Ross and the Nelk boys are friends with him.
They're seeking to get him out of the prison because he has a Russian citizenship. He's technically a Russian citizen. However, he hasn't lived there in many years. He never paid taxes there. He just traveled there, stayed in touch with certain YouTubers, had some certain connections, but he still has a Russian citizenship. And on top of that, he's a green card holder. I don't think he has a citizenship yet in the United States, but most of his life he lived in the States. So this is like a structure of the Russian government, especially during these times when there's a war in Ukraine. What Russian government is seeking for is to get a valuable person, which Vitali is. I mean, he's a public figure, right? Public figures are always valuable
what
people.
do you mean
because
he's a valuable person? What is this argument? Oh, he's a valuable person because he has some followers on the internet. That literally does not mean anything, like, politically or globally. Like, I don't want to get into that, but, like, god damn, how dumb can you
They
be?
have connections with certain individuals overseas. So he's a valuable figure. That's why Russian diplomats staying in touch with the Philippine government to get him out of the prison. There might be Filipino prisoners that are currently imprisoned in Russia and might be valuable for Filipino government. So they can do the trade. They can exchange from one prison to another. Therefore, Vitali will go back to Russia, and somebody from Russian prison who is a citizen of Philippines will go to Philippines, including Nelk boys, because what's that guy named Aden Ross, I believe, who are in touch with Donald Trump. These people are valuable, obviously. If you're in a shithole like Vitali, you're gonna be doing everything you can, and I'm pretty sure she's done already.
First off, this isn't a Cold War spy movie. Second, Vitali's not valuable. He's not Edward Snowden. He is just a gym bro with a GoPro and no filter. And the saddest part, the same dude said Vitali ghosted him years ago, refused to collab, and told him to kick rocks. But he's still defending him like
Why
a puppy
is he on
waiting
his
for a
meat
belly rub.
then?
That's not loyalty, that's delusion. Nobody's coming to save Vitali. Not Russia, not the US, not Trump, not Aiden, not the Nelk boys, not even the guy he told to screw off. So, from YouTube YouTube stunts to jail bunks, Vitaly's fall from grace is a warning shot to every cloud chaser on the internet. He thought going viral was worth anything. He thought he was untouchable. He thought consequences were just a YouTube comment section problem. But the Philippines isn't a playground, it's a sovereign nation. And when you break the law there, you don't get a slap on the wrist. You get locked up. You get your name blasted on the news. You get humbled by a justice system that doesn't care about subscriber
what is he
count.
doing?
So yeah, Vitali may have changed the law.
He deserves it, bro. Honestly, he deserves it. I don't have any sympathy for him. I'll be honest. Like, at the start of the video, I'm kind of like, maximum security, whatever. Yeah, he's losing weight. Nah. I mean, like, when you replay the clips like that, it's hard to feel bad for him. It really is.